How easy is it to migrate your old data over into Lifecycle? This can be quite a contentious issue for people because in an ideal world, the way that they would like that to work is that you flick a switch and suddenly everything that's in your old software is inside Lifecycle. But you have to think about this from a technical point of view, even if you're not a technical person. These two systems are fundamentally trying to achieve very different things. The original CRMs that most estate agents use are only used for transactional purposes. It doesn't really matter a great deal if I put the correct information in, if somebody has an email address, doesn't have an email address, if they have a mobile number, don't have a mobile number. And because of that, you'll find that there are many, many duplicates sitting inside your old CRM system. You've probably got someone in there who's looking for an investment property and they're also looking for a house. And then somebody who's had a valuation on one property and maybe had another valuation on another one. It doesn't really matter that much because the system was really there just for the purpose of me to make an appointment and try and do a deal. That's it. If that person isn't doing some form of transaction with us for too long a period of time, we just shove them in the archive. We don't really care. So this system is really based around just making appointments. Lifecycle's a whole different beast. If someone doesn't have an email address, they don't have a mobile number, there's no real marketing or tracking that's going to take place. And equally, if somebody is looking for an investment property and a house, those profiles need to be combined inside that one profile to make the whole of Lifecycle work so that we can say, wow, this is interesting. Mark Burgess was looking at this property, rather than there's a Mark Burgess over here who was looking at that property and there's a Mark Burgess over here who was looking at this property. Everything, the fundamentals of the entire system work differently. To get to the question, how do I move my data over? It's actually not that difficult once you get over the problem of imaginary issues. The biggest issue that people bring up is, I really like the idea that when John Smith phones me up and he had a valuation from us 4 years ago, I'm able to go in my software and go, oh, hello, John. I can see we came round to your house 4 years ago. But here's the reality of that. Firstly, John isn't going to phone you up from 4 years ago because you're not doing any nurturing. If he does, he's already on the phone. The fact that you say, oh, I can see we did a valuation for you 4 years ago, isn't having any material difference to the conversation. He's already decided to phone you. So if I had said to him, oh, hello, John. Yes, have we dealt with you before? Yes, you did a valuation for me 4 years ago. And I said, oh, okay, we've changed our computer system since then. So I'm going to need to take your details down again. He's not going to go, oh, fuck it. Right, that's it. I only called because I thought my details were going to be on. That's not a reality. It's not something that actually happens. Should you have access to your old data? Yes, and your current software provider is responsible for supplying that to you in some form of data dump. If there's a compliance issue or some other reason whereby you need to dig back into that old information, then you'll be able to do that, and your software has to do that legally. They have to be able to give you some sort of data export. How do you get it into Lifecycle? Importing contacts, relatively straightforward. You get them into an Excel list, first name, surname, email address, mobile number, and they can be imported straight into the system, provided that data is split up into columns. Obviously, it's no use to us if first name, surname, email address, mobile numbers all jumbled in the same thing. Split into columns. There's companies that can help you clean up that data if your software provider won't provide it to you that way. And it gets imported straight into Lifecycle. Lifecycle will deduplicate all of the contacts. If Mark Burgess is in there 6 times, you'll just end up with one Mark Burgess. You don't need to worry about the buyer and tenant search profiles. Because of the way Lifecycle works, they can fill that out themselves. So it's like an instant refresh to your database, a breath of fresh air, because we can import the vendors, the landlords, the buyers, the tenants. You can send an email straight out to the buyers and tenants saying, hey, we're using this brand new system where you can have accurate property search profiles that you can update yourself. If your circumstances change, you get heads up before the properties hit the portals. Go here to update it. You get a refresh on your database, and instantly those people start getting matched with properties, and Lifecycle starts showing you potential viewings, and bang, you're away. You're in this whole new world all of a sudden. So how do you get the properties over? The properties you just move over manually. It's really not that bigger deal. I know you may look at it and think to yourself like, oh, we've got 100 properties or we've got 50 properties. It's really not that much of an issue. Like, I know the system inside out. I could probably move a property in 3 minutes, maybe 5. It's a day. It's get a few pizzas in, let's move the properties. 78% of our clients do it within the first 3 days of even having their account set up. So it's really not a big issue. So moving your data across the Lifecycle just requires you to step outside of the box of thinking like, I'm going to log in and it's going to look exactly like my old CRM. No, we need our buyers, our landlords, our vendors and our tenants moved over. We need our live properties moved over. Maybe over time we might start putting some old market appraisals in there once we start realizing the power that Lifecycle has to nurture people. But remember, currently, all of that stuff outside of the live stuff that's going on inside the diary in your current CRM, nothing's happening with it anyway, and probably nothing's going to.